Now, let us have here the 10 basic international human rights standards for law enforcement that is being observed also by our Philippine National Police. So, number 1 po dyan, standard number 1, equal protection. So, as we have mentioned, everyone is entitled to equal protection of law without discrimination on any ground. So, kahit ano pa man yan, yung pagkatao ng isang tao, everyone is entitled to equal protection of the law. So, in enforcing laws here in the Philippines, they should enforce the law equally. Okay, so kaya naging example din dyan under the guidelines and suggested actions na nakasaad po sa inyong learning module. It was mentioned again, this so-called Miranda rights. Kasi yan ay kung minsan kasi noon hindi na inculcate masyado yan sa bawat police officers natin, hindi nila ino-observe, kaya anong nangyari, technicalities in the dismissal of the cases na naifa-file, kaya walang napapatunguhan or hindi na-achieve yung justice. So in order for the justice to prevail, okay, kinakailangan talaga the observance of the proper procedures in arresting a certain person. Kaya nandyan yung Miranda warning cards na meron dyan yung Miranda warning cards. Merong mga translation. Kasi in specifying or in stating the Miranda rights of the person, i-consider din ninyo dyan yung language or yung dialect na naiintindihan ng isang tao. Baka mamaya, yung taong yan, hindi pala nakaka-intindi ng English yan, ang ginamit mo or ang language na ginamit mo in saying or in stating his Miranda rights ay English. So, yun ay inequality or hindi yun proper. Okay? So, anong kailangan mong gawin? Kung naka-assign ka sa sa Mindanao or kung na-assign ka sa Ilocano places, okay? And then yun, hindi ka Ilocano kasi you are from Tagalog region. So, kinakailangan dyan, meron daw yung Miranda warning cards na merong mga translations. Okay? Meron yung English, Filipino, and then any other local dialects. So, nandyan din yung sinabi natin kanina, nasa Ilocano region ka, then make sure na meron kang Ilocano translation ng Miranda rights para kapag meron kang inaaresto, you will not only stating it in English but also you can state it in Ilocano kasi meron yung mga tao na as in hindi nakakaintindi ng Filipino at hindi nakakaintindi ng English. So that is only one way to show equal or fair, okay, in implementation of laws. Okay, kaya pati rin sa mga korte, okay, ino-observe din nila yan. Okay, the use of languages na nagagamit sa mga courts or in any alternative dispute resolutions din na meron tayo as we have mentioned during our previous discussions. Okay, so that is only one or some examples under standard number 1. Just take note, the equal protection of laws. Standard number 2 na meron po tayo, respectful treatment. So it says here, treat all citizens and victims of crime with compassion and respect. So, especially in dealing with victims. Kaya kung yung biktima, babae, then syempre babae yung babae, and then make sure na kayang-kaya niyang i-deal yung or kayang-kaya niyang maasikasuhin talaga yung victim. Kasi victim, usually they are may mga traumang pinagdadaanan. So, yung kinakailangan, you know how to deal with those kinds of situation. So, nandyan din, pati yung mga suspect, hindi porket sinabing suspect yan, gawin mo na ang gusto mo sa kanya, bugbugin mo na, pagsusuntukin mo. No. So, you still respect the human rights or the rights of that person under custodial investigation. Huwag mag-torture kasi hindi mo pa alam, baka yan pala ay innocent, hindi pa yan napatunayan. So, it was also mentioned that the court can determine their guilt or innocence. Kaya nga sinabi ko, wag mong abusuhin yan. Kasi suspect pa naman yan. Baka yan, innocent pala. So, that is what is being emphasized in standard number 2. Respectful treatment. Or in other words, iwasan yung abuses or iwasan yung pagmamaltreat and then tortures. Okay? So, that is under standard number 2. And then standard number 3, use of force. Na-mention na natin kanina yung use of force continuum or level of force continuum. Nandyan yung level 1 up to level 5. So make sure na kapag kapag nagpa-participate, nagko-cooperate yung inaaresto mong tao, so yun, pinapataas mo yung kamay niya, tinaas naman niya yung kamay niya. So, wag mong gagawin na sabihin na that is under level 5. Nakataas na nga yung kamay, wala namang baril, level 5. So, ano yun? Use of deadly force yung ginamit mo. No. So, you should take note, meron tayo level 1 up to level 5. So, pwede ang gawin mo doon, you still be careful. Okay, yun nga lang, pwede mo nang gamitan ng soft techniques. Okay, just in case. So that is under standard number 3, the observance of the level of force continuum. So do not use or use only force if necessary. Okay, and then standard number 4, we have here policing non-violent assemblies. So it was mentioned the usage of force when policing unlawful but not non-violent assemblies. When dispersing violent assemblies, use force only to the minimum extent necessary. So in cases naman in crowd controlling naman ito. So in times na merong mga nagrarally dyan, non-violent. Kung yan naman ay non-violent, then ang gagawin nyo lang dyan is to barricade. Okay, not to apply baton, okay, or strike them with the use of pro-baton and others or any materials na meron kayo na pang-disperse ng mga assemblies. So yun, kung non-violent, then just stand there, okay, stand by, barricade lang ninyo yung area, and then hayaan nyo sila. Okay, pero paano naman kapag yan ay umabot na sa sukdulan na babatuhin na kayo ng bomba, babatuhin na kayo ng mga bato, okay, and then mga kamatis and others. So meron ng violence. So that's the time you can now increase the level of force continuum na pwede na ninyong gamitan, okay, necessary forces in order to stop them from doing those things. Okay, so that is under standard number 4. Kaya meron din yung dito sa police force, meron tayo dito yung crowd control elements or CDM personnels na meron tayo. So they are specially trained, okay? Specially trained in crowd controls. Kasi dito sa ating, especially in cities, mga police officers that are assigned in cities. So nandyan, crowd control or elements, CDM personnels na in charge kapag merong mga rallies. So nandyan, alam na nila kung paano yung makipag-deal dun sa mga ganong instances. Merong training na kinakandak ang Philippine National Police natin, and meron ding mga discussions kung paano nila i-manage yung ganong mga situations. So that is one way of our police force to achieve this standard number 4 or the observance of standard number 4, policing non-violent assemblies. Standard number 5, use of lethal force. So lethal force should not be used except when strictly unavoided in order to protect your life and the lives of others. So nandyan na yung cases wherein life and death. Okay, so kung yung buhay mo naman, so ito yung ini-emphasize ni Duterte. Okay? Ito yung ini-emphasize ni Duterte na ginagawang issue. So, bakit ko kaya nasabi na ganun? So, di ba ang sinasabi ng presidente natin, kapag ikaw ang nalagay sa alanganin, patayin mo, bibigyan kita ng medal. So, ang gusto niyang i-point out doon, hindi papatayin mo yung tao ng walang dahilan. Paano naman kapag ikaw yung nasa alanganin? Ikaw na police officer na lagay sa alanganin. Ikaw na ang babarilin talaga. So that's the time you can now defend yourself. You can now use lethal force. Kung pwedeng i-take down mo lang or pwedeng tamaan lang sa vital parts, if you can do that, then yes. But hindi sabihin natin walang ibang paraan, kundi talagang patayin mo yung tao, then that's the time you can do that. Kasi mas ang prinsipyo natin or the one that is need to be emphasized there is parang it's better to lose a certain person. It's better to lose uncooperative suspect than to lose a police officer. So what happened to the family of that certain police officer? So it's better na wag natin hayaan kasi ginawa naman ng police force natin, ng police natin yung kanyang lahat ng makakaya just to make that person cooperate pero hindi pa rin nag-cooperate, then that's the time talagang patayin na talaga. And then yan yung ina-emphasize ni Mr. or ni President Duterte na hindi maintindihan ng ibang tao. And I don't know if ano naman ang masasabi nyo doon. Kasi for me, that is what I really see on the message that is being said by our President. Hindi niya sinasabi na kapag criminal yan, patayin mo agad. No. The use, nandito sa standard number 5, the use of lethal force only. So, strictly avoided pa rin ang use of lethal force. Yun nga lang, in the instance na life mo and then kamatayan ang pumagitna, then that's the time you can now enforce or use lethal force. So that is under standard number 5. And then standard number 6, we have here arresting persons on legal grounds. So only arrest persons if there are legal grounds. So unang-una na po dyan yung warrant of arrest. So yun, warrant of arrest. General rule, you cannot arrest a certain person kapag hindi mo siya, or kapag wala kang warrant of arrest. Yun nga lang, in our law also, in every rule, there is an exception. So, ano yung mga exception? You still remember that? That was mentioned in our criminal procedure. The 5 instances, if I'm not mistaken, nandyan yung caught in the act. Okay? If you caught that certain person committing the crime, then that's the time you can arrest that certain person. Okay, kahit wala pa mang valid warrant of arrest. Okay, and then simply that is the one that is being mentioned lang naman dito sa standard number 6. So make sure there are legal grounds. So legal grounds, caught in the act, meron kang warrant of arrest. Okay, yung taong aarestuin mo is takas sa bilangguan. Okay, and other circumstances or legally or it is permitted by law na meron tayo. Okay, and then that is standard number 6. We have here now standard number 7. So under number 7, detainees rights or the observance of the rights of a person under custodial investigation. So ensure that all detainees immediately after their arrest have access to their family and lawyer. Kaya nasabi ko nung kanina na meron yung right ng tao na hindi pwedeng mai-detain sa secret places or discreet places. Okay? Karapatan din ng pamilya niya na siya ay dalawin, malaman kung saan siya nakakulong, and also with his counsel and lawyers and other professionals na meron siya. Okay? But most specifically, the lawyers, okay, and his family. And then na-mention din, they must also be given immediate and medical assistance whenever necessary. In times na merong violence na nangyari, so yun, medical assistance. Kapag merong na baril, then he should be given medical assistance. Hindi ibig sabihin na natamaan na nga siya ng bala ng baril, nag-iinda na or nawawalan na ng dugo, ipupunta ba natin sa kulungan? No. Kinakailangan din medical assistance, so we need to proceed to the hospital para siya ay magamot. Okay, so that is under standard number 7. Only if that is practicable actually. So, standard number 7. And then now let us proceed on standard number 8. We have here the humane treatment of detainees. So, all detainees must be treated humanely under any circumstances. So, it speaks of the with regards to the Torture Act of 2009. So, hindi po natin pwedeng i-subject to torture ang mga na-aresto natin or naka-detain na mga tao na na-aresto natin. Okay? So, against torture, ill treatment, okay, and any other type of abuses. Pati rin dyan, yung psychological abuses, baka meron dyan. So, those abuses, maltreatment, ill treatment, or tortures, they should be they are covered under standard number 8. So hindi po yun humane treatment of detainees. So they should be also well treated in a way na their dignity is being preserved. Also they should be treated as human as well. Okay? So that is under standard number 8. Just take note, the use of force, it is very much it is not tolerated under standard number 8. And then standard number 9, the refusal to obey unjust orders. So nandito na, do not carry out, order, or cover up extra-legal killing or enforce disappearance and refuse to obey any other or any order to do so. So yun, sabihin natin, inutusan ka ng supervisor mo na bawasan yung droga na nasamsam ninyo, bawasan yung report para meron kayong ibebenta for your personal interest, then that is not a lawful order. So do not carry out those such kind of order. So that is what is being pointed out here in standard number 9. Even though na ikaw ay subordinate, pero yung inuutos sa'yo is unlawful orders, then that should be, you should not do those orders. The refusal of orders is being emphasized here in standard number 9. Okay, and then standard number 10, we have here reporting violations. So report all violations of these standards to your senior officer and to the nearest prosecutor's office. Do everything within your ability and authority to ensure steps are taken to investigate violations of these standards. So where can you report? As mentioned here, kung pwede sa senior officer, then you should report to your senior officer. If it is not appropriate to the senior officer, then you can proceed to the nearest prosecutor's office. So that is the one that is mentioned here under standard number 10. So take note, this is being presented or stated in the Human Rights-Based Policing Manual of the PNP. So nandyan yung prosecutor's office, pwede mong i-report yung violations of those standards na meron dito, and then if not, you can report that to your senior officer. So that is all about the 10 basic international human rights standards for law enforcement.